Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. 13 days until Election Day, 1 day until the final presidential debate. Set for tomorrow night, we'll have coverage right here. Joe Biden prepping tonight, former President Obama in the key battleground of Pennsylvania, campaigning for his former VP, and he did not take long to go after President Trump. What he said in a moment here. President Trump, meanwhile, leaving the White House today. He's been on a nonstop flurry of rallies in the key battleground states himself. Tonight, the president headed to North Carolina. Joe Biden getting ready for the debate, doing an interview with our ABC station in Milwaukee, and what he's expecting from the president tomorrow night. And as I mentioned, former President Barack Obama making news as we're coming on the air tonight in Philadelphia. So we will carefully get to it all for you, including where this race stands in the key state of Pennsylvania. A couple of new polls out tonight, and ABC's Mary Bruce leading us off.
With Joe Biden off the trail preparing for the debate, tonight his team sent in its heaviest hitter to the state that's become an absolute must-win.
If you just work as hard as you can over these next 12 days, I'm confident we're going to have a good outcome. We're going to have Joe Biden as the next president of the United States.
Former President Barack Obama in Pennsylvania holding his first in-person campaign event, a drive-in rally in Philadelphia.
The thing is, this is not a reality show. This is reality. And the rest of us have had to live with the consequences of him proving himself incapable of taking the job seriously. At least 220,000 Americans have died.
Biden's team is banking on a huge turnout in Philadelphia and its suburbs and hoping Obama will help energize African-American voters.
The truth is that I'm very proud of my presidency, but I didn't immediately solve systemic racism by virtue of me being president.
Trump has been campaigning hard in Pennsylvania, overnight rallying his supporters in Erie, begrudgingly.
You know what? 4 or 5 months ago when we started this whole thing, because, before the plague came in, I had it made. I wasn't coming to Erie. I mean, I have to be honest. There's no way I was coming. I didn't have to.
Down in the polls, tomorrow night's debate could be Trump's last best chance to change the direction of this race. In an effort to limit the relentless interruptions that dominated the first showdown, this time the microphones will be muted some of the time when it's not the candidate's turn to answer questions.
Well, I think the mute is very unfair.
Biden telling our ABC News affiliate WISN he knows the debate is going to get ugly.
He's kind of signaling that it's all going to be about personal attacks, but I'm going to try very hard to focus on the issues that affect the American people and talk to them.
On The View today, Jill Biden says she's prepared for the president to attack her husband and son, Hunter, but she calls it a distraction.
You know, as a mother, I mean, I don't like to see my son attacked, and certainly I don't like to see my husband attacked. The American people don't want to hear these smears against my family. The American people are struggling right now.
Biden has been laser focused on the pandemic, casting it as the president's biggest failure.
With COVID, is there anything that you think you could have done differently? If you had a mulligan or a do-over on one aspect of the way you handled it, what would it be?
Not much. Look, it's all over the world. You have a lot of great leaders. There are a lot of smart people. It's all over the world. It came out of China. China should have stopped it.
And as he prepares to take on Biden at the debate, the president is lashing out at Leslie Stahl of 60 Minutes after he cut short their interview.
You have to watch what we do to 60 Minutes. You'll get such a kick out of it. You're going to get a kick out of it. Leslie Stahl is not going to be happy.
Today, the White House chief of staff criticizing Stahl as, quote, an opinion journalist.
All right, so let's get right to Mary Bruce tonight. She's live in Philadelphia. And Mary, Pennsylvania, of course, so key. It explains why President Trump was there last night, why former President Obama is there tonight. Two new polls out of Pennsylvania, both with Joe Biden leading, one by about 8 points among likely voters, another with a little more of a lead. But, of course, it's always a good bet to look at the average of polls over the last several days. So where do things stand in Pennsylvania?
Well, David, the polling average has Joe Biden up here by 6 points. This is the state that is most likely to determine the outcome of this election. But despite Joe Biden's lead, everyone is treating this state like it is neck and neck. Former President Obama unloading here tonight on President Trump, ripping into him on everything from the pandemic to Trump's taxes and his treatment of the military. David.
And of course, President Trump in North Carolina tonight. Mary, thank you. And tomorrow night, ABC News will have coverage of that crucial final debate. Our coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here. Of course, one of the key issues tomorrow night is expected to be the coronavirus here in this country, with numbers worsening across much of the nation. And tonight, the CDC is out with new guidance on close contact with an infected person, what you need to know. And it comes as these new cases rapidly reach an average of about 60,000 new cases a day. And remember, Dr. Fauci has repeatedly said that we needed to be at about 10,000 cases a day as we head into fall to avoid a devastating second wave. And so ABC's Whit Johnson tonight on these new guidelines on how little time, how little exposure you can have and still get this.
Tonight, a new CDC study finding that even multiple brief exposures within 6 feet in a 24-hour period may increase the risk of COVID-19 transmission. Until now, health officials had said you can contract the virus if you spend at least 15 minutes within close proximity of an infected person. Today, in a rare briefing in Atlanta, CDC doctors urging Americans not to let their guard down.
I recognize that we are all getting tired of the impact that COVID-19 has had on our lives. We get tired of wearing masks, but it continues to be as important as it's ever been.
Researchers at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia out with a new dire warning, forecasting a continued deteriorating situation throughout the Mountain States and Midwest if distancing and mask wearing doesn't improve.
I want to remind everyone, mask up, Illinois.
The governor of Illinois shutting down indoor dining at restaurants and bars in some Chicago suburbs. In Wisconsin today, a new record, 48 deaths. And in Ohio, another record, more than 2,300 cases in a single day.
We have tamped down this curve in the past. We just need to do it again.
Hospitalizations climbing in 41 states. In Boston, following a surge in the positivity rate, the school district again putting plans on hold to ramp up in-person learning. And tonight, an update on the timetable for a vaccine. The chief advisor of Operation Warp Speed telling our Bob Woodruff he hopes one or more vaccines will be widely available in the spring, meaning everyone could be immunized by the summer.
It's a plan. It's not a certainty, but the plan should make it such that by June, everybody could have been immunized in the USA.
Really? This coming June?
Yeah.
Everybody. We could all get it.
We'll have enough vaccine doses. I really hope most people will take the vaccines.
We'll see in the months ahead. Whit Johnson with us live tonight from Boston. And Whit, I wanted to get back to that new guidance from the CDC you were reporting on when it comes to close contact with someone who's infected. For some time, they had said it was 15 minutes of exposure. Now it appears they're saying it can mean multiple shorter exposures, adding up to about 15 minutes over 24 hours.
And David, for example, it doesn't need to be someone who sits right next to you at work or at school. It can simply be someone you pass in the hallways multiple times per day. As long as it adds up to 15 minutes in 24 hours, you could be at a higher risk.